Good morning, traders, and welcome to the Bookmap live trading webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. Good morning, and let's see, everything's up and running. Good. All right, and welcome to the live trading webinar. So we go through live analysis, forward-looking, and order flow, teaching you order flow based off our educational course that's online on our YouTube channel. You'll find it. It goes over market mechanics, understanding really from the binary elements of trading, building blocks of trading, on up to the highest time frame available, and it is all order flow. Okay, so we're going to go over that in the live markets here. We do it Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. We have live trading with Jay Trader, a stocks trader, on Wednesday, and Scott Pulcini, a futures trader, on Thursday. Let's go through the disclosures and jump right into the market. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. The risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so let's take a look here and answer any questions. We're going to look at the S&P E-mini, but we can look at whatever you guys want. So just let me know. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, oh boy, Peter, and over in Discord. Hold on a minute. Let me get to the Discord chat, advanced webinar. Okay. All right. So I think we're all set here, guys. And let's jump in here. All right. So oh, Tony has a aloha, Tony. All right. Good morning. You got the SI indicator because of Scott's educational course. Excellent. Yep, excellent. Glad you like it. Glad you're playing around with it. Ask questions, Tony. That's what we're here for. There's a whole lot of information, not only from Scott and the advanced webinars here, but on our knowledge base as well. Okay, so let's take a look here. We can see our opening is rather flat here in this S&P, and in the order flow here. Just some back and forth here at 9:30 a.m. and we see a bunch of sellers coming in now and bringing it right back down to the low here, and pre-market low, just kind of testing that right now around this 37.70 area here. So I'm pretty curious here to see if we can see if this is going to be leg one and then leg two here on the sell side. So let's see if we get enough sellers here. If we do, I'm looking for continuation. All right, so there they go. There is a seller. So looking for the continuation down to, let's see if we can get down to 60, 55. Let's look at 50 as well. Typically around these half figures down around 37.50, we see quite a bit of liquidity. Not right now. There's some, of course, but we're looking for more. All right, so anyway, looking for the continuation here, 770 or 37.70. And then on down into other areas of high liquidity. All right. Good morning, Genevieve and Diego. Okay, so simple reading right off the bat, guys. Just looking for this to continue. And we can talk about this trade management in here as well. So we were looking for the move down to here, and heavy selling to come in, and then looking for continuation, right? 60 is our first area here, and then you know, consider taking some off down here. Stop should already be at break even. Okay, now this is just a consideration here for your trade management, because you don't want to give back. You want to capture something and try to let it run for you. All right, so and this is just one way to trade. Okay, but we're reading the order flow, and we do want to go over something in here on trade management. We can go through it more in depth if you guys want, but we're here to go over order flow and reading and understanding what Bookmap is visualizing, so that will give you an edge. Okay, the trade management and all that kind of stuff, that comes next. Okay, that comes with your trading style and how you want to have that work for you. Okay, so right now, look, I mean, you can see the buyers coming right back at it, right? So it never got down to this 60 level yet, and then we see just a pullback here. Okay, now let's read, even with this move in here, right? We were saying, let's suppose you're still in it, all right, and you haven't taken partial profit, but your stop is right here at break even. All right, and now if you got in at the break here, you would have been stopped out at break even. Okay, well, we'll go over both scenarios in here. And I'm going to go over it quickly because I don't want to focus so much right now on this kind of myopic view here. We want a bigger picture view and understand order flow here. But we'll go through a couple of trade management considerations here. All right, so first off, when we look for these continuation moves, here's what we look for: dominance on the sell side, right? Them moving the market. They are in control of this market at this time. And are we getting that? Not really. Okay, so here's why. And we go through this exercise all the time. So get stopped out at break even. Look for actually even a potential reversal here. Why? Look at the order flow shift or potential shift here. Look at the selling here. Look at the buying here. Okay, it's rather equal. Look at the bars that I have down here, as well as the dots and the size of the dots. Look at the comparison. We can look at also the volume imbalance here. It's actually skewed to the upside. There's more buyers in here right now. Okay, so don't get fooled into, or stubborn into holding something. We're looking for that continuation. It did continue. It didn't come down to 50 or 60 a target. Okay, not yet. But in this case here, we're looking for that order flow event to continue. And then we started to talk about trade management, getting stopped out at break even, and then looking at the bigger, or this move in here. Okay, now this move in here, there's selling over here, but look at the buying coming in, right? So we don't really know. In fact, there's even more buying coming in, right? What we want to see in this move here, let's just cover it that way. What we want to see in this move here is dominance. Okay, we're not getting that. Look at the buying pressure starting to come in these areas in here. Okay, so once you start to see that, it negates this move, and where we were talking about 70 and the breakdown below. Okay, and potentially going into 50, 60, and then 50. Okay, well, the order flow shifted and changed here, and we can see it. It's right in front of us. Okay, so actually, let's zoom out and let's see if maybe we get even more buyers in here in the bigger picture. Okay, and then come up and test 78 up here. Okay, so we right now that this is, do we have an edge? And that's what we want to determine. And the edge in here is, you can see the buyers coming in and coming up to test this kind of 78-ish or 77 to 80 area in here. Okay, now, this is what I want to cover, though, is this volume in here versus this volume over here. Okay, so we're looking for an edge. We are looking for in here. We want to see a low volume pullback and continuation of the move. We're not getting that. Okay, and we saw it in the volume. Okay, so we're looking for something else at that point. Okay, now do I see a reversal taking place? No, not yet. Okay, but it has the potential for it. So we're looking for maybe a pullback. Maybe we get some exhaustion on the buy side here. We will see. If we don't get the exhaustion here on the buy side, then we're looking for back up into 78 and 77 through 80 area here. So here comes our pullback now. Okay, so looks like it'll probably pull back to 71. Okay, it just did, because that's where the liquidity is, right here. Okay, so let's see if we get more buyers back up here now. Well, then we got something. Okay, I mean, we need to see quite a few more buyers, and we want to see the bid chase as well and strengthen on the bid. Okay, another potential pullback is probably here. Look at the liquidity here at 68, so maybe that's a good area here. All right, so anyway, not what I'm basically going over here is we don't see an edge yet. Okay, we're looking for, is this going to reverse? And we don't really know right now. We're looking for the strength here, the commitment of the buyers or sellers in here, and we're not really quite getting any insight here at the moment. Look at our bars again. Sell bars, buy bars, sell dots, buy dots. Okay, so now look at the sellers compiling in now. Okay, so now let's compare again in these areas. We were just looking for pullbacks in here, and if we're going to get a potential reversal, okay, or a test up into this kind of 78 to 80, 77 to 80 level here. Okay, well, we can see sellers coming in, just hitting the bid hard here. Okay, now let's take a look here. Okay, so this is where the sellers came in and dominated, right in here. Okay, in this small time frame, they are in control. All right, so let's see if we're getting a pullback now. If we get more sellers here again, yeah, here they are. All right, let's see the sellers try to move it now back down into our 60 level and maybe through it here. Okay, so there we go again. Let's see if we can get these sellers to come in. Okay, now one thing, look at the bid here. See the strength on the bid? Okay, that's not good for us if we're looking for this move to come into 60. So do we have all the pieces here in a really high probability outcome of this insight to the downside here? No, not really, in the sense that the selling is strong. That's good. But the bid here is strong too, okay, in the order book. All right, so we're looking for that continuation. If we can get it, sellers still dominating here, and they're being tested by the buyers. Okay, now so far, this is a low volume pullback so far. Okay, to 68 3/4 here. Okay, now here come the buyers to test that. Okay, it is still a low volume pullback, still. Okay, so anyway, let's go through a few scenarios here. What if we get sellers right here at 67 1/4? All right, let's see it, sellers. Let's see if you can drop it now, and then look for a move back down into maybe 64 1/2, and maybe back down into our 60 level here. Okay, lower high here. Still no real insight quite yet. So there's buyers in here, we know that. Yeah, nothing shaking. Okay, so this could be a false breakout though. Let's take a look at that scenario here. What does that look like? Well, we'd look for sellers here at 69. Oh, not seeing it. Still seeing strength here on the bid down in these areas here, and we're still finding some buyers here. Okay, well, just not getting an edge right now. All right. Well, anyway, as we wait for this see what might unfold here, we're starting to get our sellers. Here they come. All right. So now we're looking for our continuation here. This is hard. This is a hard market at the moment here, because look how quickly this comes in and moves. Right. We're looking for insight basically, and we're looking for those sellers here. We didn't get them. We got them here. Boy, I could go over this here. This is classic stuff we've seen so many times over. Buyers in here, smaller or lower highs in here, exhaustion at this point up here, looking for our sellers in here, and then looking for the follow through down into 60. I mean, we see it again and again. We were looking for around this kind of 69 area here to have those sellers show up, and they did, and just moved it really quickly. All right, so a hard read in the order flow there. We still know there's buying pressure in here, so I don't think we're in a really what do you call it? It's not such a clear day here at the moment. Okay, like who's really controlling here. Anyway, let's what I want to do here is we're trying to read and trying to get something here shaking, and let's just jump back and look at our higher time frames to begin with, since it's the start of a new week here. And let me get to some questions as well. All right, so here we are on our daily, on our candlestick charts here. And what we want to understand is order flow on these higher time frames first. And we're going to go through the basics. Okay, and what we're looking at here in the daily on the left here, well, you can see the kind of move up into this pocket here from back on early October, the 6th and the 5th. And then we just came up into that today, and then we can see we're starting to sell off here. Okay, so there's still sellers up here. This right here, just on the daily chart, is exactly the same thing we were just kind of looking at on the smaller time frame. Sellers here, but buyer strength in here. Okay, so a move up into here and some profit taking on the sell side or buy side here makes some sense. We may see a breakout here if on the daily we can get back up here and see a tremendous amount of buying up around this 38 and let's call it 38.12 or so. Okay, and then look for maybe a move up into like 38 and 77, something like that. Right, hourly chart, let's take a look here in the middle. So we came up, and yeah, this is a typical behavior we kind of look for. We know there's some selling tails up here. We look for some profit taking as well as sellers to come in here and to support it, which they are, it seems. So we're dropping down and drop down to about maybe this 45 level here, maybe even lower, maybe even down to 13 or so. Just looking at the hourly here. Now let's look at the 15-minute here on the right hand side. All right, we open up here and all over the place. The move down now into this little pocket looks really good, actually. 47-ish, maybe a little bit lower, 40-ish. Looks pretty good. This is a strong move here on the 15-minute chart. So let's see if we can get our continuation now. Okay, let's see if the sellers can hit into 50 here. Okay, we have to be kind of careful here at 50, these round numbers, because a lot of times you see a lot of profit taking before them, as well as maybe buyers front running and moving things higher here. Okay, but the order flow move, let's just go through it. Yeah, okay, here's our strong sellers. Okay, into high liquidity on the way down. Here's our second leg. Yep, still looking for sellers then. And a move into 50, and then our 47 and maybe 40. Okay, now that would be on the higher time frame that we're looking for that move down in here. And this is exactly why we want to be careful down here. We see these buyers always coming in, typically coming in before the figure. All right, so where might they pull back to? This looks pretty good here, 60-ish, 59, 60. Maybe a little bit higher too, 63. Let's see. Oh boy, you have a lot of comments here. And Diego, you have a question. What traded volume users would you use for the absorption indicator? Sweeps in I would play around with it in Bitcoin. So we'll just jump over here for a minute, guys. I'm looking at Bitcoin Binance futures here, USDT, and for the sweeps and absorption indicator, the best thing to do, I think, to find out what settings. First off, it depends on what time frame you're using. Let's look at the sweeps indicator, okay? And we will look at 100 or greater, and we're getting very little in terms of sweeps. Okay, so let's bump up the maybe to 3 levels, and let's bump or bring down this to maybe 50, and let's see what we get. Okay, so we're trying to read in here and get something out of it here. Now I have the liquidation indicator on as well, which I really like, and we do have something that will be released soon, an update to that, okay, which is excellent. Yeah, I'm still getting too many here, I think, and not too much insight yet. Diego, I hope this is answering your question. So let's filter for maybe a little bit more here. Let's bring it down to 25 and see what it looks like. Or we can use the automatic mode here. Maybe this is better. See, and that brings it to 79. Okay, and then we have fewer in here. Let's zoom out a little bit. But we're not getting too many sweeps. Not really, except for this one just now to the downside. That looks pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty choppy in here. We see these kind of small sweeps, and then back in the range basically. So right now on both sides, the purple here it's basically like a stop, sell stops, and then these are buy stops here to the upside here, basically something like that, right? It's an order book sweep that we see in here. Right, so kind of a nice little sweeps in here, and also this one here, and then just reading it in here, just kind of zooming out, looking at what might give us insight in here. Play around with it to get something that works for you. Maybe you bump up the levels in here. Okay, you want to see it sweep several price levels, for example. Yeah, here's 5. Now it has to go through 5 price levels in here to sweep. You'll note how these sweeps usually take place at the extremes. It'll kind of sweep through an area and then exhaust out, basically. Okay, this is order flow phenomena that the sweeps captures very nicely. Anyway, I hope that answers your question, Diego. Like, just keep playing around with it until you see something that starts to give you some insight. Like, what insight I'm getting on this setting here is like there was some sweeps up here and some sweeps down below in this current market. So maybe we can see if we get exhaustion on the buy side. Maybe it comes back up and tests up into here and then rolls over again and sweeps again to the downside, or maybe we see that this was huge liquidation event and sweeps, and we come back up here. Maybe we can get back up to the top and other side, back into these areas up here. So this 19,350 area, something like that. Those are the two scenarios that come to my mind immediately with the sweeps indicator. Okay. My recentering, let's go back to the ES here, guys. I'm kind of curious to see what unfolded here. Yeah. So yeah, we knew that there was still buying pressure in here, but the strong move was the sell side here, right? And we also knew that, like, we're likely, before we get down to the figure here, likely to see this kind of profit taking and buyers coming in, front running it. Okay. Now they've come up and tested here. Now let's look again at the strength of these moves in here. Okay, so because here's the strong move on the sell side, and then here's the order flow. I mean, it's very visual here. Okay, sellers, 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 buyers in here. Now the buying isn't bad, but there's still more selling than there is buying here. Okay, so anyway, the buyers are having their day with it, or their fun with it for right now. Okay, trying to get it, maybe a squeeze going here, back up to where these sellers took control. Yeah, book flip at 60. Oh boy, let's take a look. Yeah, order book's pretty strong in here on the bid. Okay, and they were getting filled in some of those areas. And then here's kind of a flip from bid to offer in here. Okay, Diego. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that was good for you, helpful. Okay, Tesla breaking 200. Thanks, Ahmed. Let's jump over there quickly. It's a pretty big down move for Tesla. Now, guys, here's a beautiful flag pattern in here. Sellers back and forth in here, and then sellers again. Okay, now the buyers are coming back in. So it broke into 200, but we're back up above it here. Okay, but this is Ahmed. This is great. I mean, look where the sellers took control here, right up here at 202, on down to 200. Big buying though here on the bid. Big selling into it. More selling pressure still below it here, but buyers are now back up above it. Okay, but let's just look at still who's in control in some of these moves here, right? Sellers are still in control from up here. Okay, now we're back through this area here, okay, and retesting some of these little areas here. And it looks like it wants to retest, and liquidity's up here at 03. Okay, now look at this is still a low volume pullback in here. Okay, so we can see that although we broke this little swing here, sellers are still in control from basically up here. All right, and yeah, we're seeing some buyers come in, but look at the volume in here. Still, sellers still remain in control in the move. All right, we'll come back and revisit this one. This is an interesting one. So we're not seeing like we're not getting quite, the clarity we're looking for in some of these moves yet, even here in Tesla. Okay, so we're kind of seeing it all over the place still here. So it makes sense our S&P is kind of all over the place here as well. Okay, pretty strong buying coming in. All right. Well, pretty strong buying. Let's see if we can get a pullback and maybe extension move up into 90. And let's take a look at our bigger picture. It's kind of all over the place here too, right? We saw the strong move on that 15-minute down into, well, we were looking here and we didn't even get to it, 47, and then maybe 40 down here, right? And now we're seeing buyers come in, right? So it's kind of all over the place, and we're not getting too much clarity out of it right now. Okay, I do like this actually right now. Would love to see this come up into, look at the bid is strong here, so looking for buyers in here. Now if we get them, I'm looking for them to hit 90. Okay, let's see if they show up right in here. So this is right, our strong move, consolidation followed by the next strong move. Here we go. Let's see if we can get our sellers, our buyers in here. Nothing yet. Let's see if they flush out some of those buyers on a pullback into 78, maybe a little lower here, 76.5. All right, good. All right. Now we know still this is the strong move. Okay, we're getting a pullback here. Okay, again, looking for buyers in here. We're not getting it. Exhaustion is right there, guys. Nothing. Now we've retraced all the way back down here. Okay, I'm looking to see if we can get our buyers back up here at 78.5. And let's see. Okay, here they go. A little bit more. All right, let's see it. Looking for buyers here on up. $78.5. No, not seeing it. Not yet. Here we go. Okay, there's a pullback there. Yeah, it's worth a shot. I mean, this is not a trade recommendation, but an order flow event here. Looking for buyers to start to take this back higher again on up to top of the range. Okay, seeing the buying coming in. Looking for, here's leg one actually, and now looking for leg two on up into 83. Okay, and then potentially our 90 level here. Okay, and why are we looking for this? Okay, we're up at the top here, and that's not good, but we do see this kind of, we're leaning on this strong buy volume in here, is what we're looking for here. Okay, and then continuation up here. All right, here we go. Retest back up here. Let's read the order flow and the structure here. It's the structure as well we want to read on these moves. All right, here we go, buyers. So looks good. There's our stronger move. We're looking for the continuation. Okay, we're looking for this flag pattern to continue on up into our 87, and 87 is coming into the book now, but 87 and 90. Let's also take a look here. I mean, that's the order flow event we're looking for, and we're leaning on this volume in here still. Okay, let's look at our higher time frame though. And where might we be going here? The 15-minute chart. You know, basically we'd look for those buyers to come in and move it all the way back up to about the figure here at 3,800. You know, beyond 90. At least that's what we see on that 15-minute chart. Kind of a tough day so far. I mean, we know there's selling pressure here in here too. We know there's buying pressure in here as well. I mean, there's both sides, and it's been pretty equal. And we started the webinar event off by noticing that, and it's still continuing. Okay, consolidation, Stan, this is a great question. Actually, I really enjoy doing this in Bookmap here. In a consolidation like this in here, first off, we look for, like, you know, who's the stronger participant in here, right? And you can see that we are looking for that this next buy move on up. It's totally failing here. If we're below the strong move here, and sellers are taking it down, okay, we may get kind of a dip below and then buyers back up above here, and we got to look for that scenario here. Okay, because we know there's still buying pressure in here. They may be heading for the doors though. If we can get more sellers to hit back down into 70 and below. Okay, so this is our pivot right here at 75. The consolidation in here, well, I mean, we started here, Stan. This answers the question. We started here with the buyer, the strong move to the upside here. Now we know that's also a lot of stops in there, but as long as price accepts above this area here at 75, they remain in control of the move. And we saw again these buyers here, they broke the high, but they could not continue. And then these buyers in here looked really good for the move to continue on up at this point. And then they just kind of exhausted out. We see the sellers come in and then hit back down into where it began from. And then that's where it broke and retested back here at 70, 75. We got to see buyers back up above 75 for this to work. Right now, sellers are taking it down here. Okay, so this is the critical area here at 75. And here we go. So see how we're right back again. All right, I would take, you know, it's not a trade recommendation, but I'd give this a little pot shot right here on small size. Looks like the buyers they're back in. We see the buying pressure. Let's see if we can get back up to here, and then maybe that breakout up into 90. Now, this is not high probability, it's more of like, can these buyers come back in here above this 75 and take control here? So here's our leg one, our first move, and now we're looking to see if we can get our second move up into maybe 80 first to begin with here. And we can't. The sellers they're taking control down below here, right below here. So this we're not really getting an edge in here basically. So anyway, that would have been a stop out for a small loss in here, because this should work immediately. If it doesn't, then it wasn't ready. And why take any more risk? Okay, we're looking for these moves to work. We're looking to see for someone to take control of the market at certain areas. And if they don't, then don't take the risk. Take the risk off immediately. Yeah, rare. We'll go through what we consider high probability, and the different scenarios in here. And when those scenarios play out, then we're looking for the move to unfold. Okay, so like right now, it's all right. Well, let's just go through a scenario here. All right, so sellers bring it down to the bottom of the range. They're on the offer here. That's good. We want to see that if we're going to get continuation to the downside. So that's good. And I will get into the consolidation stand because it's a really good question. I want to go through it in detail. Let's answer this one first, and I'll get back to it. So this is good. We want to see that on the offer here. Okay, we want to see them pull on the bid, and we want to see lack of buyers here, low volume pullbacks basically, and more sellers to come in. Now they're doing that. So let's see then. We should get more sellers here. Okay, we should. And then we'll get the drop into 65 or this liquidity down here. Now, one of the things that we talk about in here that does not help our probability is look at how dark it is in here, right? So rare, what I'm trying to say is the buyers can very easily shoot back up into these areas and retest. Okay, and we want to see this on the offer up here not only stay in the book, we want to see it drop even lower, that they're like kind of pushing it lower here. We don't see how they're on the bid here. We don't want to see that, right? So this is what we are looking for here, okay, is different because we're looking for maybe more sellers here to bring it back down into these areas. We have the offer here, but we want to see them move the offer down. And here's what unfolded. Well, they came in on the bid. We don't see sellers here, okay, and they're not really here on the offer. They're only up here. They're not chasing back down, okay. So buyers fill it in, and we don't see sellers here yet. Okay? They may come in, okay. Instead we see them on the bid here, right? So now what happened is we're getting this kind of buyers taking that up and filling these areas back in. Okay, so, and is this high probability? Well, this is where it's harder to read in this kind of choppy environment. What about them on this move? Are they supporting it higher? Well, they're not really on the bid. They're down here still, so sellers can still whip it right back down into here. Okay, right, and we will see when it really kind of hits you over the head in the order flow that the market is strong and it is higher probability, and it is due to the order flow. It is due to the conditions of the orders and the participants, the traders in here. They basically kind of tell you that well, if there's enough buyers in here, the sellers they're not going to tangle with it. Like it's a strong move. So they'll pull on the offer. You'll see them supported on the bid. You'll see a lack of sellers down here, exhaustion basically. There's no action, and then we'll float back up here and find more buyers to push it higher. Those are the things we're kind of looking for in here. And have you heard of like let's just something so visual in volume profile is a strong, or I'm sorry, a weak top or bottom. Okay, a weak top or bottom is, let me show you here an example of it. Or, here's our B-shaped profile, right? So more transactions down here, less up here. See the B? Okay, this is the stem, and this is the B belly part here. Okay, and then what you're looking for is really not, you see your high volume node down here basically, and it means that wow, there's a lot of activity down here. It will and it's a weak bottom because what it means is it will likely break. Okay, So we want to see a lot of selling down here. That's a scenario. That's a scenario in volume profile that you look for. Okay, and see how we're just all over the place here. Sellers came in, buyers back up above this area, back up to the top of the range again. All right, so we're trying to look for something that gives us some sort of insight or edge, and we're not really seeing that in the order flow right now. Okay, sellers come in, we got lack of follow through. The buyers start to come in. We're not seeing much on the bid down here, but buyers take it up to 75. Now we're back up above our 75 level. Okay, and we see some buyers come in. Okay, now the buyers have tested back up to 80. That's what we're looking for over here. And taking it, I think we were saying in here, take a shot at it to come back in, because we're above this area here, and this is very, very choppy in here. All right, so now we're starting to get some direction here, and we're looking for, let's just zoom out. Okay, well, let's see, do we have that strength up here? We have this to lean on right here. Let's go through a higher probability scenario then. Okay, they're on the bid here, that's good, but they're starting to pull. Here come our sellers, right? They'll likely take it back down to here. Okay, 78.5. Liquidity's there. Okay, and just looking for sellers to test it down here. Now let's see here. We get some insight from here. A stronger bid. Do we get buyers? The reaction to this. It's all over the place. They're on the offer up here. More strength on the offer. And now, what's the reaction to it? Well, actually, it's kind of interesting to see some buyers interested in this liquidity here. That shows a little bit of strength on the bid here, or by the buyers. Okay, still don't like it. Let's see if we get something here. This looks better. Okay, here's our bid, and we got sellers into it. So that's not high probability, right? We found sellers here, so we're not. We're not interested in that. We want to see this bid scare away the sellers. Okay, so this move and kind of fill in this area down here is not out of the question, right? That'll keep you out of that trade. Okay, now we're right back up again. Yeah, this is a very choppy and kind of a dangerous environment in here. So I hope that helps, Rain. I mean, and it basically what we're, and I think a lot of traders come into Bookmap and order flow looking at the charts here as being maybe some sort of what do I want to call it? Some sort of like indicator or visual that tells them to buy here and sell there. It's not like that. What is giving you insight is insight to the participants in the market. Okay, so what we're getting insight into is there are sellers here and they failed to bring it down lower so far. So we might, if we see a strong bid and we get buyers here, they will bring it back up into the range and maybe test up here at 83, 84, or 87. Okay, so that's what we're reading is the auction. Okay, the order flow here in the auction. And that we know that these are potentially trap traders as well. They will be buyers up in here and we'll look for a stop run up into 84. Okay. So that's, again, not by reading the auction in here, and Bookmap is giving us insight into the auction. Okay, not that it's like, oh, there's heavy selling here, and therefore we're this is the red light, and we're looking for the green light, or for the continuation or whatever it might be. It's the condition of these traders here. Okay, it's really a different mindset here. We're looking at the traders in here in the auction. Okay, it's really like having a front row seat at, like, going to I don't know, like Barclays or whatever it is, and reading an auction, and with people with their paddles putting up the sign that they want to be buyers or sellers, and you're reading that. You're reading, like, you're reading, are they like really putting their hand up high, and like, oh, they really want to buy. They're standing up in their chair, like, with two hands, and there's multiple buyers doing that. That's what we're reading, right? That's giving us insight. And then, are we finding that people are chasing it, and that people are buying? Well, then that's when we got some order flow and we got some insight. Wow, this is strong market. Okay, well, let's ride along with those guys up into where the sellers are, up in these areas here. That's what we're reading. How would you trade this? Well, we're going through those. We're going through those trade examples, okay, scenarios. Okay, and most of them here is doing nothing right now. Yeah, okay, Stan, this is a great question. So let's read the auction in here. Okay, maybe we'll just zoom into a smaller time frame, and we'll go through market mechanics. That might be a really good exercise. We do this all the time, and that's basically what our education is all based on. So Rare, in fact, thank you. I really appreciate that comment, that we're consistent with this. We are. This is it, and I'm totally convinced of it. This is just how the market works, this kind of education is very different than others that are looking at maybe exclusively some sort of trading system like volume profile, and then putting some sort of like, oh, it's the POC. Well, what's the POC in the order flow? What does it mean? Well, we know what it means in the order flow. You don't have to kind of like just take a leap of faith by someone's system and definition of that system. Okay, in the order flow, it's a high volume node, is the most traded level. It has significance only because most traders believe that this is the value area, the fair price for this instrument at this time. So if that is true, then what are we looking for to tear away from this magnet here? Okay, it begs a question. We're looking for heavy volume to tear away from that area. Do we see that? Well, we have the potential right here on the buy side right now, right? Okay, are they on the bid here? No, they're not. So we could whip right back down here and test down into here. Okay, now what unfolded? It traded right up into here because these buyers, they lifted it. All right, let's just zoom in. I think we're going to have more luck today with the smaller time frame. Okay, there's still more buyers in here, but look at this area in here. Like, likely it's going to go here, this liquidity, likely. Okay, but I just don't see a lot on the bid down here either. Okay, but the buyers are still coming in. Okay, likely it's going to come up here to 90. Okay, now let's just read it in here. Okay, what do the traders here up here think about it? Okay, well, what about buyers? Are they able to trade it up in here? No, here come our sellers. Okay, can sellers trade into and through 86? Here come the sellers. They should be able to hit 86. And there they go. Okay, now they hit 86. Now we're still above it. Now let's see, is there buying interest here at 87? No, not yet. All right, looking for continuation then. Continuation on that sell side. We're looking for buy interest here. None. Sellers, all right, 80. That's what we're looking for, right? Liquidity's down here at 80. On these really choppy days, like we can zoom in to the lower time frame, and that's where we do have a little bit higher probability. All right, now again, we're not getting much out of the order book in here. It's really the aggressors here. They're just whipping it back and forth between these areas in here. Right, even on the stronger move in here, look at the bid, right? Yeah, they're kind of following up underneath, but it's not a whole lot, right? And that's why the sellers can come back and fill in that area again. Let's go through some of these binary kind of, or mechanics in here. Look, buyers up here, buyers. All right, did they buy up here again? No. Okay, this is looking good though. Can we retest back up here and find buyers? Let's see. Okay, if we don't and we see sellers here, I'm looking for the sellers to take it down. Okay, more buyers. Okay, all right, more buyers. All right, let's see them move it now up to 90. Looking for the move up into 90 by these buyers here. Now, again, is it high probability? Not really. We don't see much in the bid here. Okay, we just, the order book can be filled in very, very quickly by aggressive sellers. Okay, but there's our move up into 89 and almost 90 here. Okay, 1 tick away from it. 2 ticks away. Sorry. Okay, so here again, a strong move, right? Buyers. Okay, let's see them. There they go. And all right, so I think I've gone through a bunch of different scenarios in here, and we'll continue, I think, at these lower time frames today, and go through maybe more market mechanics today. It might be a good opportunity to do that, like reading this auction in here very, very quickly. And then this is really kind of hyper scalping in a sense, but just reading it again. Okay, so here, sellers in here, buyers starting to come back in, but looking for, again, sellers here, and we're not getting them yet. If we do, though, I'm looking for them to take it down to, yeah, here, 85, or maybe 84.5. Okay, now, is that likely to happen? Well, here, where are the sellers here? Nope. Okay, buyers likely to take it back here to 89 then. There they go. Okay, just 89. That's it. Okay, that was all we're looking for. Okay, now what we're doing the same process here, and we're just doing it on a higher time frame. And now we're doing it on a very low time frame. Market mechanics again. Okay, up into this 89 level. Buyers again up here. Okay, exhausted here, but we find them again here. Okay, what about down here? More and more buyers. Great. Okay, and now we see a little bit of softness, a little bit of selling here. There's our exhaustion. Okay, sellers take it down. So there's our exhaustion, and we had some sellers here. Now we can get the sellers to move this back down to these lower levels here. Okay, and then look at the offer. Okay, they came in at 88. Now do we find buyers take them on? Nope. Okay, so there's our shoot back down into this level here at 86. Okay, maybe they can get a little bit more selling here, and let's see if they can press it and hit a little bit lower here. Sellers, and then 83 3/4. Boom. Okay. Makes sense? All right, so let me go through this example in here to extrapolate it to the higher time frame. It's really important. And we can, if we zoom out here, we can see we're still just all over the place in here. Here come our buyers, here come our sellers, here come our buyers. The pivot point is right here, above or below this line right here, at 86 now, where previously it was 75. Okay, now we're seeing sellers below it right now. Okay, well, let's see, are they going to hold? I'm not finding buyers yet. Okay, now we have potential. Do we get enough buyers up here? No. Okay, now we're starting to. Okay, bid looks pretty good as well. All right, so yeah, bid is looking better. We're getting some buyers. Let's see them trade up into 92. Okay, 92, 93. Now there's some weakness. Now there's some weakness. They're attacking right here. Look at the pivot point again right here. Okay, at 87. Okay, so again, we're just all over the place here on these. When we zoom out a little bit, the smaller time frame is making sense, but this kind of a little bit higher time frame is not making much sense. It's failing, it's coming back, it's retesting, etc. So what do you do on days like this? Well, I mean, if it's not on your time frame and your risk parameters, do not trade. It's telling you when not to trade. Okay, because we're looking for something. Maybe we can zoom out to a much higher time frame. So lower time frames are working. Let's see if what about our higher time frames in here if we zoom out, not just the kind of day action in here. Well, our 15-minute chart, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really seeing too much here. It's just been really kind of chop back and forth here, above, below, or right back in the middle again. Our hourly chart, it opened up strong and it's tested back into these levels, and we're right back up here again. Okay, our daily chart looks pretty good. We've already tested up here to this kind of 11 or 12 area here, but we found some sellers up here. Okay, but we're still green for the day up here. In fact, on the daily, here's, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, strong selling over here since back on early October, the 6th and 7th, 8th, and then we break down below. We find the buying pressure and we see the move back up here. We get a pullback and then another retracement up here again. Okay, so what we're looking for up here on the daily is we're looking for quite a bit of buying to lift this higher. Okay, if we do get that quite a bit of buying, then we're likely to test back up into maybe 82 or 3,900, maybe even a little bit higher, 33 on the daily. So we'd look for an extended move above our 12 level here, or 20 level, somewhere around there. All right, and on the hourly and the 15-minute, we're not really seeing much right now. So yeah, our higher time frame really isn't giving us too much at the moment. Nice reflexes on the spam. These guys are just relentless in here. Yeah, that's why you don't touch the middle. Captain Price. Yeah. I mean, don't try to curb that feeling that you need to trade. I mean, we will go through the order flow on all time frames because some of you guys are scalpers. Some of you guys are just day traders. Some of you are swing traders in here. All right, we want to go through all of them for you and order flow on all time frames in here. But it really does start at the very, very basic levels of the market and the mechanics in here. Right? This in here tells everything. So here's exhaustion down here on the bid. Okay, the red dots are market sell orders, green dots are market buy orders. Green line is the best bid, the red line is the best offer. This is all of the price action here. Okay, so what is it telling us in here? Well, first off, down here we have a lack of sellers. So this is basically, now I know it's only a couple of points or ticks in here, but it holds true. This is a mean reversion trade back into the mean here, and it tests kind of the other side here as well. Now it actually got a little bit of trading here on the other side. That's bullish. Okay, was there more though? No. Okay, look at exhaustion up here, sellers in here, a little bit of selling here. That's bearish. Okay, you can see it's just this little range in here is not giving us much. Now if we had big red dots down here, we had our exhaustion here, it tried to trade higher, and this is the scenario to go through. Okay, so let's go through it. If we have our big red dots here, then we'll go through the order book. Okay, we don't want to see much here on the bid. Okay, big red dots here. We don't want to see much on the bid. On the offer, what if they come in and throw a lot of orders in here? Okay, and what it does, the reaction is some sellers more at a lower level. We're looking for it to go lower. We're looking for it to establish a new range. We talked about, for example, measured moves. Like this move here, okay, this range. And we could look for continuation down to a new range and establish a new trading range, okay, down here. Okay, because sellers are moving it away. Sellers are moving it away from all of this activity up here. These are the scenarios to go through. Okay, and then now I wanted to get back to Stan's question about range trading. I mean, this is right in front of us as well. And I will get to the icebergs as well, guys. So hang in there. Chris, you need the Bookmap Global Plus version for the sweeps and the absorption indicator. Okay, so anyway, we would look for this in here on this move in here, our strong move on the sell side down to our measured move, and establish a new range in here. And then we'd probably get a pullback down here, and we'd look for actually what we'd be looking for here is liquidity on the bid down at this level, okay, and to get filled, right, and establish that new range. And then we look again for maybe a low volume pullback, okay, by buyers back up to about here. All right, and if we don't see it, we probably get something like this, like a little double top, or something like this, and we get an exhaustion up here on that buy side. Okay, then, and this is a low volume pullback, more sellers than buyers. Okay, they're still on the offer here, let's suppose. Okay, these are the scenarios we're going through. Then we're looking for our sellers to come in, not here, and to drop it below that area. Now, once we see that in here, we're looking for the move to continue, or at least down to the bottom of the range, and then maybe second leg. Okay, because they remain in control. All right, so, and then that would be also your flag pattern, and start maybe a start of a trending market. Okay, so there's a scenario to go through, okay, and understanding order flow. Let's clear all this, or if you want to take a screenshot, you can. Yeah, and I mean, it just repeats again and again. I mean, you'd be looking for high liquidity down here to get filled, right? Maybe they pull here and then add more on the offer as well. All right. So anyway, that's a scenario to look for. Okay. Now, what happened in this market here? Let's take a look. Okay. So range bound, some selling in here, some buying in here. It's really, we're not getting too much out of it. Let's see, can we get more sellers here at 80? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, back into the range though. Okay, back here again. All right, starting to look pretty good. Now, if we get sellers again here, big red dot, I'm looking for them to take it down. Okay, and we get a little bit in here. It's not too clear in here. We start to see them come in again here and move it though. Okay, so there's our scenario. There's our move. Okay, now that's a very small time frame. It played out. Now this is our pivot point here again at this point, back up above this range here, and this is what we've been seeing today a lot. Okay, so it tests up above it. It actually kind of tested back up to here, and even back to here, which is going to be a high volume node in here. Okay, because of all that trading in here, and it's just still just kind of bashing around in here. All right, now this is getting interesting. Buyers back up here. All right, I need to see a retest back up here with some buyers, and maybe we can break out. Do we get it? Still kind of bouncing, starting to find them, looking pretty good. I like it. All right, buyers, let's see you take it. And there we go. There we go. Okay, so we're understanding at these in this range here, Stan. You know, starting to understand that, well, this is a break of a range. Okay, also rare, and looking for that continuation of the move. Right now, your range bound trading is kind of tricky, but you're basically looking for exhaustion at these edges. Okay, like up in here. There's a little bit of trading up here and here, but we just don't see it. All right, and you'd be looking for sellers to bring it back into the middle of the range. Let's zoom out. We're gonna have to find a better example. And I'm really curious to see where the market went. I have no idea right now. And let's just take a look at a range. Okay, well, this is a break of a range again on strong buy volume. So we'd look for the continuation. We look for exhaustion down here. Look for more buyers up here again to continue. Okay, so they're taking, you know, they're taking it away from these areas in here. Okay, and be looking for it. There's just more buyers in here. Okay, now we're going to add the heat map in here. Now it's starting to make a little more sense. Okay, now they traded up into this high liquidity here, and that we didn't get buyers back up above it. So this kind of stopped the market a bit, right? Slowed it down. Okay, down on the bid, these slowed those sellers down in here. This is that context we talk about. They're trading into high liquidity down here. They can't seem to trade through. They had the opportunity right here to trade back down below it, and they didn't. And this is kind of tricky, right? I mean, it's wide open for sellers to take this slower, and then we come back up and we get kind of a move back up to the other side here. Now here's your range bound possibility. This is what I look for in a range. In this range in here, okay, you can either use the same, basically it's a breakout of a smaller range in here, Stan, okay, that you can be looking for. And the first area that you want to see a range trade back to is the point of control, or the high volume node within the range. Okay, and that would be right here. So I would have to see exhaustion down here. To be honest, I would never take this one as a range bound trade. They pulled that liquidity. We see some selling coming in here. They have the opportunity to drop this like a rock, and they don't. We get buyers back in, and then there's not much of a range bound trade in here. You know, you only get like a few ticks out of it basically. If you see the buyers in here to bring it back up into the high volume node. Now you could look though for them to go to the other side of the range, but they got to get through the high volume node. That's the kind of last stopping point for. There still could be sellers in here, and then it'll curl over and go lower here. But you can see what happened. In fact, here it did trade to the other side of the range. Okay, so you could look for that stand. But basically what happened here too is it traded up to the top of the range, came back, and now it's bouncing off of support of that high volume node here. Okay, so this is where in this very small time frame, again, we're looking at sellers taking control. Okay, and are we getting sellers down here? A little bit. They had the opportunity to also bring it back down here. They did not, and we see the buyers come back in again. This is looking pretty good. If we can get more buyers up here, this is where you can even trade again, range bound from inside out. Okay, this is your inside out trade. Also, this is more of a leap of faith to the outside of the range, but this is inside out, and then hold one for continuation. So if there's a few different, it's not only a range bound trade, but it's also a continuation trade, and you're set up for it, right? Now look what happened. We got the breakout into high liquidity up here at 85, and this is where Bookmap can really help you. You can consider taking some partial profits up there. Okay, because we get a pullback here back to almost that high volume node in here. It actually kind of shifted to a high volume node being here now, right? So anyway, this is still bullish. Okay, this is still bullish here in this range in here because we still have more buyers up in here, and we don't see the sellers coming back in yet. Okay, now we're looking for buyers again up here, and this is leg one, pull back. Now we're looking for leg two. Okay, so if you took some off here and then you put your stop at break even somewhere in here, or maybe here, you'd still be in it here. You would have been out of it here, right? And you'd have to look for your next setup. Okay, it's still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good in here. Okay, some selling starting to come in though. Now we're reading buyers and sellers in this range up here. Okay, and we're also looking at the bid and the offer. Okay, they're bidding up down here, supporting it, but down here. Okay, which is still good though. And then now we're getting our buyers back up here, a little bit on the bid as well. We'd be looking for the breakout, and we'd be looking for the stop run here too. Okay, maybe back up into 80, 88 and 89 here. All right, so there's an anatomy of it, starting with the basic market mechanics, understanding ranges, understanding volume within those ranges, and then looking for a potential move based on the order flow within that range. Okay, does this make sense to you guys? I know we're going through a lot, but you can always go back and review this one. Now, you know, the beauty here in Bookmap is we're not looking at a candlestick and it's like, oh, it's a wick and it didn't come back down to it. No, we're looking at precisely the traded volume. We're looking at precisely the order book on the offer and on the bid, and the context of these things together. That's what makes this higher probability than other trading platforms. And that's an edge. Okay, so that's what we're evaluating in the auction process, because it's all here. We don't have to come up with something. It's so visual. It's telling us in here, right? And once it starts to tell us something, that's when we look for the scenarios that we're talking about to unfold. Okay, So, and then we're looking at our targets and liquidity in here. All right, so let's see what moved up into this high liquidity up at 90, and then sellers come in and pound it right back down. Okay, so this market it still continues just to be all over the place in here. Okay, got the move though up in here. We read this pretty well on the smaller time frame. On this time frame here, this is hard to read. There's, you come back up in here, we see the buying coming in. Sellers just pound it out of the blue too. There's nothing in the order book in here. It's just sellers came in, bring it right back down to our line here at 80. We get a little bit of a bounce here at 80. Okay, even on that smaller, that's why these smaller time frames matter. Okay, we drew them up in here, and then we trade through it, but then back up above it here. Again, buying pressure. They take on these guys and more buying above it. It retests back to it and continuation. Okay, now this is hindsight. This is easy, but we were reading this like not in hindsight. I didn't know where the market went. Okay, we're just reading the order flow and the condition of the participants. Okay, and we'll do that right now. Okay, so now we're back down here. Sellers, they're below this little area here. All right, let's see, do we get enough buyers in here? I'm looking to see if we get more sellers back down here. There's your pullback. And let's see if we get our sellers here and pull. We want to see them pull on the bid, right? We want to see them on the offer here, and we're not. I'm still looking for sellers here to try to do leg 2 here. Okay, we got leg 1. Now we're looking for leg 2. And in this little range in here, what do we see? Well, only sellers here. Okay, buyers back up here, and now we're back up where the buyers are. Okay, well, they're going to likely push it back to here or top of the range here. Okay, now I'm looking to see if we can see sellers come in and attack it from here at 85.5 right here. If so, I'm looking for them to drop it right back down to here. Okay, bottom of the range here, or 83.5, let's call it 83.5. Okay, let's see sellers in here. Let's see if we can get it. Nope. There's some sellers. Okay, got to see them here at around 86.5. Not getting it. Not getting it. And instead it's the opposite. Right, the buyers are starting to pull it away from that area, back up into 90 here. All right, now let's look at a bigger picture here. This is looking better for the bigger picture. Okay, we have our European close just unfolding now as well. We're trading up back into 90. We see some buyers in here. Okay, they have the potential here for a move back up into 3,800 here. Okay, what about the bid? Well, not seeing much on the bid. Okay, sellers can whip it right back down to our level here, 85 and 85 even. Low volume pullback rare is a beautiful thing. Yeah, we can look at it here. Now this is kind of a low volume pullback now, but there's a real big important caveat in here. Where did the majority of this volume take place? Okay, right in here. If we can get below that on sell side, around 88 here, I'm looking for them to take control and move it back down to our 83. Okay, just like that. Okay, let's see if they can do it. Let's see if we get our sellers here 87 though. We're not looking up here. We're looking for sellers here, right? And we can stay away from that. Okay, now we're back up here, and the buyers can lift this. They can take it higher. I want to see these buyers be trapped. I want to see them be trapped right here. Okay. All right, sellers, there you go. Let's see if we can move it. Looking for them to continue moving it down, 85, 83, maybe down to 82.5 here. Okay, leg one, pull back. Let's see if we can get a leg two now. More sellers right here at 86 we're looking for. See how confusing it is? We see high liquidity in here and we're getting buyers. So no, we're not going to get it. Right? Here's our order flow event right here. Okay, so the buyers, we had high liquidity in here. We're followed by buyers. Okay, so that leg two is not going to unfold here. Okay, now he pulled. Now our sellers come in. Yeah, it's tricky stuff. I mean, they did get upended. The buyers did. But these sellers, you know, here it is right here. Sellers here, buyers back up above. Again, this kind of pivot, we're looking for control around it here. Yeah, it's just kind of all over the place right now still. Okay, our low volume pullback, rare is, like I said, I think it's just a beautiful thing. Let's see if we can find a better example. We're just looking for a strong move followed by so strong move on the buy side here. And that, yeah, I mean, this is, you look at the volume in here and look at compared to the sellers in here. This is not a really good example. That's what we're looking at. Well, I just want a picture perfect example for you. Yeah, here's our strong buying in here. All right, so in fact, let me dim the heat map for now. Okay, look at that strong selling. Here's our buyers coming back. Look at the buying. Look at the dots. This is our low volume pullback. This is outside of a range here, right? And this too is kind of that pivot line right here. But here's where the sellers take it, and there's a lot of selling in here. Look at the buying that came back here and retested. Now they could have even come back a little further, but typically the first pullback on a strong move we look for is this little area in here. It kind of went sideways for a little bit and then dropped again. And we look for a pullback right to it right here, right? And then we look for exhaustion on that buy side, and then sellers to roll in again on that move, and then we're looking for continuation of sellers because the sellers are dominating the game here. There's not enough buyers in here, and the buyers, they'll just pull away. Okay, let's see if they pulled away in the order book. Okay, they got filled here, but see how they're starting to pull? This is what we want to see. Look at, they're on the offer here, a little bit here. Okay, buyers could have come in and whipped it back up here. Okay, but they didn't. We don't see any buyers in here. Okay, and then we start to see more sellers back in again at this bottom edge here. We're looking for the continuation of the move here. Okay, so that's what we're reading in here. All right, on the low volume pullback. And you'll see it again and again and again. All right, so that was around 10:15. And look at how choppy this turned out to be in here. And the order flow, it's all in here. It's all in the order flow. And then we're looking for these things to play out one way or another. It's just how the market works, and understanding the mechanics here. Like here, sellers bringing it down. All right, so here's our low volume pullback potentially. All right, see how that turned in. Now we see buyers back up above it. So there's our pivot. Now let's see, do they bounce off of here? Do we see support on the bid? No. But do we get buyers back up here? All right, yeah, there's a little support. All right, buyers should be able to take this back up into 90 here. Okay, right here, 90, 90 and a half. Maybe we'll get our bigger move here. Right, there we go. There it is. Right, so that was the scenario we read. We're looking for sellers in the pullback and then the continuation. Nope, they were upended by buyers. We got the pullback and bounce off of it here, right here. And then we're looking for our buyers to come back in, and we got them. So then we're looking for up here, this liquidity up in here. We got it. Okay, makes sense? Guys, go back, please, review. This is all recorded. Go back and review. It's in here. You'll see it again and again. And this in here is the kind of the fuel to the fire. In a lot of cases, it's the sellers in here. If it's not a stop run, we're gonna get our stop run because these are sellers trying to take it down. And then here's our stop run. We can see it in here, right? Huge. Okay, beautiful one. It's not huge, and this is actually now huge. This is a blip now compared to this one here. Look at that, 152, right? So here's our bigger move. Now is starting to unfold, right? This is what we've been waiting and watching for, is the bigger move here. Okay, so buyers taking control, right? Now we're going to get our pullbacks. There's still sellers in this market here. Okay, there's our pullback. Now look at our move as well. We have a stop run, 2 stop runs. And do we get buyers up here? Not really, right? So we got to be very careful on this move. I'm still, looking for more buyers to try to take it up to the figure, 3,800. Okay, stop run or not. But what we want to understand is this order flow in here. Are we getting new buyers up here? Okay, is it accepting above here? If not, and we start to see sellers come in here, they'll take it right back down, 90. Okay, some sellers into 92 or 91 3/4. Stan, did that help? Well, high volume node, just remember, it's that's where price has some value. Don't think of it as high volume node. Think of it as like there's a lot of trading there, and it can trade back to value. Okay, so that's what you want to read, and you want to read like down here, right? We were being careful about this because of the stop runs up here, and we want to see 3,800. Well, we knew there were still sellers in this market. It's all over the place. So to see this being a false breakout is not out of the question. Okay, now where are we going here? Well, it's bouncing off of a high volume node. Okay, it could still come back down here to 85 and it could still be bullish. Okay, all right, Stan, excellent. Well, it's not always about the high volume node either. It's about time and acceptance outside of a range. What does the market think of it? What do the participants think of it? Like this could be a beautiful stop run, and you think, wow, okay, well we've covered it in here, that this area in here is a strong move, a strong breakout, but there's a lot of stops in it. What does the market think of it? Well, if you get sellers back down below in here, then they can move it back down to the bottom of the range down here. Okay, now what did they do? They're bouncing off of the high volume node. Okay, so don't just look at this as being, what is the reaction of the order flow around that most traded level? That's what you want to consider, not high volume node. All right, I'm trying to go over, like, we'll use these definitions, but it's about the order flow around the high volume node we want to understand. Okay, not just because it's a high volume node. Okay, so the order flow around the stop run here that we want to understand. So a lot of times it's not a high volume node that you get, in a choppier market, you will get the pullbacks more frequently to a high volume node because it's choppy. Typically though, what you get is range bound, breakout, and then a new range established. You will not get a pullback to the high volume node. Okay, typically. That's why we draw up these measured move and rectangles in here. Okay, and there's reason for the measured move. It's due to the order flow. It's due to all the previous range order flow. Okay, yeah, you're welcome, Rare. Yeah, I'm hoping this is making sense. I wanted to. We went over the much smaller time frame, but I wanted to try to go over today. We went over many different things, but I wanted to go over was these stronger moves and then understanding the order flow after stronger moves. What we got today was stronger moves and then a pivot. And it was just very, very choppy. So when we started the webinar off, I'm looking for that and follow through. And it's just all over the place. We see the breakout, down below it, the breakout, down below it, down below these pivot points. Here it is again, down here, retesting that pivot, right? And that this is your low volume node in here. And it's a low volume. See, look at the sellers come in. Okay, they're going to try to trade it right back down to the high volume node. And if they can, maybe they can trade it back down to and even more selling down here at 88. Then they can trade it back down to 85 or 84, bottom of the range. All right, still seems to be holding though. And most likely scenario here in this order flow is the move to 95 now, right? Because it's still holding here. We see sellers, but this is even a smaller pivot point in here. Sellers here, buyers up above it, right? They upended them, looking for the continuation up into 95. Okay, and if we can and we get our strong move up into 95, this is where we have the potential to get to our 3800 here as well. Okay, so there you go. All right, we're looking for it. So up in here, how do you manage it? How do you get involved into a trade? Well, if you see this event here and you see, wow, there's buyers back up above it, they'll likely trade back to the top of the range here. You could get in somewhere in here, take some off up here, and then look for the continuation. Now, this is very small time frame stuff, but this works on all time frames. Okay, if it's a bigger range on a daily chart or an hourly chart, it's still the same order flow phenomena you're looking for. Okay, you've just taken some off. You're still kind of bullish here because it's still holding the above this 90 little pivot in here. Okay, and then now you'd be stopped out at break even. And that's that. You took some off. You're looking for the continuation. You didn't get it. It's not a trade recommendation. Okay, we don't do that. In fact, now let's go through this. Now we're down here, high volume node, and we're seeing sellers. All right, sellers ought to be able to take it then down to 87 here or 88, and then maybe even back down further, 85. Makes sense? Okay, let's see if we get our sellers here, and they should be able to drop it then down to 85. Okay, or kind of retest the bottom of the range down here. Okay, watch them try to push through here. And then we'll probably see a stop run to the downside as well. Okay, and why does it have the potential to push through like that? Because buyers are they're not gonna show up. I mean, they may show up, they may, they may support it, and it might come back up here and we get our buyers at 90. If we do, then we're looking for a continuation on up. Okay, different scenarios in here. Let's see. All right, I think I got through your guys' questions. Let's see here. Yeah, slow down. You're picturing me bidding at on NFTs at Christie. Yeah. I couldn't come up with Christie's. That was the name I was looking for. Here we go. Here are sellers here looking for them to take it down, right? Now we're also looking for a stop run down here, bottom of the range, below the bottom of the range actually, maybe down to 80 here. Okay, so buyers aren't showing up right now, right? We were waiting, they were supporting it, it was bouncing off of here, and then now they're pushing it through, and we're looking for them not to see buyers until we get to these lower levels here. Okay, so we're still looking for sellers, looking for continuation on the sell side here. Okay, down to 80. Okay, so far, I mean, these sellers might get upended, right? When we come right back up and get buyers back up, look, they're starting to even pull up here, right? They're on the bid here. See, look at how all over the place it is. So, I mean, even if you got in this and you maybe you took some off, maybe you're holding for 80, you got stopped out at break even. Don't give back to the market. This is now showing bullish on the order book. Okay, they pulled here, they're on the bid here, but we don't see commitment here yet by the buyers yet. Okay, it's looking better. Okay, still waiting though. The order book looks good. The aggressors does not look good yet. Okay, now we got some. All right, buyers should be able to take it back up above this now, 89 as a pivot here. Let's see if they can. Okay, that would be a scenario we're looking for buyers up here, 89, and then a push back up into our range, our previous range. Okay, if they don't, and we get our sellers back down here again, and the order book is cooperating with the sellers, we're looking for our continuation to 83 and then 80. And if you don't see it, don't trade it. If it doesn't show up, we're looking for these scenarios for something higher probability. And right now, nothing. All right, so let's just zoom out. Let's look at this here. This has been a really choppy session. We covered range-bound trades. I wanted to go over the higher time frame and who's in control in specific areas, and then looking for order flow around those areas. What happened was on these moves where they were in control, they were getting upended many times over, and then we were drawing in these pivot lines and looking for maybe the sellers to try to reach the other sides of ranges. If we zoom out here and we look at Bookmap in here, it's just all over the place today. We don't really see any sort of, it's just been battling back and forth in here this entire session. We haven't gotten any follow through. Now, if we look at the candlestick chart, how does that leave us? Well, we like the daily. Okay, that would actually look the kind of clearest here. The hourly we didn't really like too much. It was kind of not all over the place, but it showed like, you know, opened up here, it kind of filled the gap in here, and then it's back up. And the 15-minute chart, the only thing we saw was in the very beginning of the webinar, the potential move back down into about here, 48 or 47, and it came shy of that. Well, the figure first, and then 47 we liked, and then maybe it can come back down a little lower, 40, and we see the buyer pressure come in, and it's just been really choppy in here for the entire time. All right, so anyway, let's leave off with a few different scenarios in here. We'll start with a higher time frame. Okay. Oh, another thing, we went down and we looked at these very low time frames. And we had some pretty good luck understanding the order flow on the lower time frames and the follow through. Those were working out quite nicely, actually. Then we talked about range bound trades. We talked about low volume nodes. And now we're starting to see buyers come back in up here now. This is where we need to see them in, okay, up here around 94. If we get lots of buying up here at 94, I think we can get the move higher into 3,800. Okay, let's take a look. All right, so we'll leave off with that scenario. Yep, looks pretty good. Pretty strong buying in here. Let's see if we can get a continuation of the move here. Okay, pullback would be here. First pullback. Okay, does that make sense? Can you see it in here? Can you see this leg one, pullback, kind of leg two? We're looking for buyers to support it here at leg two. And then there we go. And now we're looking for continuation, 98, and the figure. Okay, this looks pretty good. It's not a trade recommendation, but it looks pretty good. Okay, there's not a whole lot of buying up here, but it still looks pretty good. Okay, there's a flip of the order book. Offer to bid. They're supporting it at 97. Still looking for 3,800. And let's see it break through 3,800 on up into 02, 03, maybe 05. Okay, careful. Stop runs up here. We've been seeing these stop runs and then moves right back into like maybe about 95 or even 92. There it is. There's 3,800. Still looking for the continuation here. Another stop run though, so again, be careful on that one. We've been seeing these stop runs and reversals. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Looks pretty good, right? Looks pretty strong here on the buy side. So we're still looking for it to continue. All right, we're being careful though with the stop runs up here. All right, let's look at our bigger picture. All right, so we read that, you know, starting to mount on the bigger picture, right? And we're looking for 3,800. Now let's take a look here on the hourly as well. Maybe up here at 08. Okay, 05 to 08 is what we're looking for. What's 08 look like? Yeah, 10 and 20, high liquidity up there. So maybe we can get back up into there. All right, guys, well, let's wrap it up. So we covered quite a bit here. Please subscribe to this channel. We want to go over more and more education like this for everybody so that they can and ask questions like this and really start to understand order flow events and how to read them and how to make this higher probability for your trading. Okay, so and then you can really read it in here. You can read the participants in the auction. Sebastian, I think go back and maybe watch the recording on this, looking for the pullbacks. They just represent that you know, it's like there's a strong move and then basically it's kind of like if you did a sprint and then you need to kind of take a breather and then you'd sprint again. It's a dumb analogy, but you know, it just needs to take a breather after a lot of buying. There's only so many participants. Okay, so anyway, so we finally got some follow through in here. on the higher time frame at least, but man, was it choppy during that session. Okay, so anyway, this is the read here. Yeah, give us a like in the video, and subscribe to the channel. We go through these things every day in here in Bookmap. Also, come to our Discord channel if you want to continue the conversation there. Lots going on there in Discord. Okay, so we'll cover these things in much more detail. All right, guys, stay tuned. Tom B will continue the Bookmap education. He's a volume profile trader, looking very specifically at his way of trading volume profile. I think you can gain a lot from it. So continue on over there on our YouTube channel or on our Discord. We'll see you then, guys. We'll see you tomorrow as well, same time. We have other events I'll talk about tomorrow that we're going to go through during the week. Okay, Patrick Wieland will be up, I think, tomorrow afternoon. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good day. Take care. We'll catch up with you next time.